Hello, readers, and welcome again to our online classroom. This is Mr. Ahrens. I am going to be teaching you a new reading strategy today, and this is it. So, in the past couple of weeks, we have been looking at characters in The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and at specific moments in the text to try to assign character traits based on what we see. Today, I'm going to teach you how you can also determine character traits by noticing behaviors, phrases, or situations that happen again and again. So, the strategy that we're going to be working on today is called Again and Again. It's another signpost. And our objective is so that you can start to analyze the importance of these patterns in The Perks of Being a Wallflower, but also in the books that you are choosing to read for yourself. So all you're going to need for this today is your Perks of Being a Wallflower book, and that's about it. So I want you to remember that what I'm teaching you are strategies. So these are strategies that you can use with any book. I'm using The Perks of Being a Wallflower as an example because we're all reading it together, but you can be using these strategies in your independent reading books as well. So the idea is that these books are written with similar patterns in them. All books tend to have these typical things or these similar things that happen in them. And that's what I'm referring to when I say the patterns. Today, the pattern that we're going to be looking at is called Again and Again. So we're actually going to be trying to notice things that happen over and over and over in the book so that we can figure out why it is happening and what more it can tell us. So the big idea here is that repetition is important. So things that happen over and over in the book, it's not by accident. It's important, and we need a strategy to help us figure out why and what's going on. So today I'm going to teach you that when you're reading and you notice a word or a phrase or an object or more likely a situation that is mentioned over and over again, you should stop and you should ask yourself, why does this keep happening again and again? These patterns mean something. I want to give you an example. Imagine for a moment that you're sitting with a few friends in the commons and somebody else walks up and joins you, sits down at your table. And you notice that one of the kids that was there before gets really quiet. And a few moments later, they actually stand up and leave without saying anything. Well, you might not think anything of it at that moment, but imagine it happens again tomorrow and the day after that. And the next week, the exact same thing happens. It's a pattern that lets you know something is up. You'll probably notice that. Noticing patterns can better help you understand character. However, it's not just noticing the pattern that is enough. You have to do something with it. So that's why we have this question here to help us do something with it. Why does this keep showing up again and again? Go back to my example of when one of your friends kept leaving when somebody else came to sit down. I might think, if I ask myself this question here, why does it keep happening again and again? I might think that maybe there's something going on between those two people that I don't know about, like a conflict. Or it might help me foreshadow something that's going to happen later on. Like I would say, maybe if those two are ever forced to talk, maybe it won't be so good, or maybe it will be upsetting. The same thing happens to characters in our books. When they have behaviors that happen again and again, or situations that happen over and over, it can help us think about what's going on for them as characters, or it might help us foreshadow what's going on in the plot if we ask ourselves this question: why does this keep happening again and again? So let's look at a scene from The Perks of Being a Wallflower. And you'll probably notice this right away when I show it to you. But this is an again and again moment. All right? Here, let me read here. So this is when Charlie is talking with Sam right after he gets out of detention. And Sam says, "Charlie, you're so stupid sometimes. Do you know that?" Charlie says, "Yeah, I really do know that, honest." Then she said that Mary Elizabeth and she got over it, and she thanked me for taking Patrick's advice and staying away for as long as I did because it made things easier. So then I said, "So can we be friends now?" "Of course," was all she said. "And Patrick?" "And Patrick. And everyone else?" "And everyone else." That's when I started crying. But Sam told me to shush. Okay, this right here, that's when I started crying. You probably thought to yourself when we read this the first time in class that, man, Charlie cries a lot. And it's true. I chose this scene because I see Charlie crying several times throughout the book. All right? So if I were to think to myself, why does this keep happening again and again? My first thought might be, oh, well, Charlie's a sad character. But sadness is a feeling, it's not a character trait. And so he's not always sad. I think that there's something bigger going on here. So let me think, why does this keep happening again and again? Why does Charlie keep doing this? When I really think about it, I think this keeps happening because Charlie is having a lot of new emotions and he does not really know how to express himself. I think it helps me see that Charlie is still a kid, a little kid, even though he's experiencing some really grown up things. And his only way of expressing that is like a child. He cries. So there, I'm getting a lot of information about Charlie by just noticing his pattern of behavior and asking myself, why does this keep happening? Okay, I want you to try one with me now. I'm going to go to page 131, a little bit backwards, to another pattern that I noticed. All right, it starts right here. This is Charlie saying, "I asked my sister what I should do, and she said the best thing to do was to be honest about my feelings. My psychiatrist said the same thing. And then I really felt sad because I thought maybe I was different from how Mary Elizabeth originally saw me too." Okay, then I'm going to skip down here because I see Charlie say, "I tried to call my brother about this, but his roommate said he was really busy with school. So I decided not to leave a message because I didn't want to distract him." Okay, so look at this pattern. This, I notice, is Charlie asking other people for advice about his life. This has happened again and again. He asked his sister, he asked a psychiatrist, he asked his brother, just on this page. He has also done this other times throughout the book. So I want you to think about all the times that he has asked other characters what he should do. Then ask yourself, why does this keep coming up? Why does Charlie keep doing this? Okay. Did you come up with any new information about Charlie? Did you figure out anything about his character by asking that? Hopefully. Because remember, when we notice patterns and we ask ourselves this question, we could find out some information about the theme, the conflict, or even help us foreshadow what happens later in the book. So let's review, and then it's going to be time for you to read. First, we learned a text clue or a signpost that authors give us, and the name of this clue today is Again and Again. The question that we should ask ourselves when we see an again and again moment is, why does this keep happening again and again? So now it's time for you to try this strategy out on your own. I want you to continue reading to page 175 individually. I want you to please be on the lookout for situation, phrases, or objects that repeat over and over. Be prepared to identify one again and again moment in class today. Thank you very much, readers. I hope you find this new strategy helpful. Remember, you can use it in your independent reading books as well, and it's how we're going to get more information out of the text. You rock!